everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Shikha, and in this video I have come up with another important topic, which is structuralism. So now, in order to understand this important concept, you need to first have a basic idea about formalism. What is formalism? So I'm not going to talk about formalism in this video because I have already discussed it in my last video. I'll give you the link in my description box. So let's move to the new concept, that is structuralism. So the concept of structuralism says that world is organized as structures, and structures are forms made up of units that are arranged in a specific order. So what it says, it means that whatever is there in the world, it is structurally formed. So in order to make you understand this concept better, I'll give you one example. Let's look at any poem. Poems are usually made up of these several smaller units that are words, of course, forms, and figure of speech, rhymes, and poses, punctuations. These are some smaller units which makes a bigger structure, that is poem. And now poem is itself a unit of another bigger structure, that is literature. Because in literature we know that we have different forms, that is poem, novels, novellas, short stories, dramas. So these are some other units that form a bigger structure, that is literature. Now literature itself is another unit which forms a bigger structure, that is society, because literature is a part of society. We have everything in literature. So what these structuralists says that whatever is there in the world, it is structurally formed. Okay, so structuralists also says that you cannot understand one thing in isolation. In order to understand one thing, you will always have to read it in relation to another. Like, what makes a poem different from other forms of literature? It's units. Okay, that I've told you. A poem is made up of smaller units that are words, phrases, punctuations, poses. So this is what makes poem different from other forms of literature. So how can you define poem? Because poem is different because of its form. Poem is a poem because it is not a novel, it is not a short story, and it is not a drama. Okay, so now I'll talk about one of the famous structuralists, which is Ferdinand de Saussure. You must have heard about him in your graduation or in your masters. He was a famous structuralist who published a work, a course in Journal Linguistic, which was published in 1915. In this work, he talks about the structures of the language. Till now, I have just discussed about the concept of structuralism in basic, but in this work, he talks about the structures of the language. First of all, he divides language into two components. What are those? Those are lang and parole. You must have heard about these two words. What is lang? So lang is basically a set of rules, and parole is employment of those rules. Like in present continuous tense, we know that we have to use is mr plus ing. So that is a rule, and in our daily conversation we use these rules, that is parole. In general language we say, oh, what is she doing, what are you eating, what is she having. These are paroles, employment of these rules. Okay, so you got the difference between language and parole. So Ferdinand de Saussure now gives a radical thinking about the nature of the language. He says that it is not enough to see how words have acquired meaning over time, but it is also important to see how they mean within the time. He gives two words for these things, a diachronic study and synchronic study. So what is the meaning of diachronic study? It literally means across time, the historical study of the words. You must have read Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, you have noticed his language, the language he had used. Like for white, he had used WHYTE, but this spelling doesn't exist anymore. Now we use WHITE. He had used for little LITEL, but now we use LITTLE. Okay, so this is the study that the language have evolved over time. This is diachronic study. Now what is synchronic study? Within time, for words like selfie, smog, and there are many other words which has just recently developed, because now we have phone, so the word selfie had developed according to these modern technologies. And there's also a word like sexting, SEXTING. I know you won't ever forget this example. Sexting is a new word which came around in 2005 or 2010. I just got to know about this word like few days back. Okay, this is also a word, sexting. But these are the words which never existed before, but they now exist. So Ferdinand de Saussure basically says that in order to understand the nature of the language, you will have to do both diachronic and synchronic study of the language. Okay, you must have understood the difference between diachronic and synchronic study. Now I'll talk about Saussure's famous concept of signs, SIGNS. Okay, it is divided into three parts like signs, signifier, and signified. I'll give you one simple example through which you can easily understand this concept. Let's suppose there is a traffic light. Okay, consider this as a traffic light, which is like red light, yellow light, and green light. Okay, consider this as just a traffic light, nothing else, not its purpose, what it says, what it signifies, nothing else, just a traffic light. It is a sign, a traffic light. Okay, so signifier is its purpose, the purpose of the traffic light, that is signifier. You know the purpose of the traffic light, right? So that is signifier. And the concept, that is whenever that purpose is fulfilled. Okay, whenever there is red light, you know that you will have to stop there. Okay, whenever there is green light, you know you will have to move. That is a concept. You act according to these signs, but there is not any but there isn't any relation between these things. Why there is always mean that there is a red light, you will have to stop? Is there any relation between these things? But these are these are some things, or these are some rules that we have given to the society, and now everybody follows it. So it has become so natural to us, like it feels like, okay, it is it is something that God has given us. There was a person who had developed this concept. Now it feels natural to us. So sign is, traffic light is a sign, its purpose is signifier, and you act according to these, that is signified. Like the concept, okay, the concept of the red light, the concept of the traffic light, sorry. So Ferdinand de Saussure now says that sign is made up of these two things, signifier and signified. The purpose and the concept, these two things forms a sign. Okay, the purpose of the traffic light and the concept, that you will have to move, you will have to act according to the signs. Okay, that is sign, right? I'll give you one other example. If standing on the road, if I dance there, okay, would it signify anything? No. And if on the same road I do just like that, what it says? It is just a sign, and it is made up of two things, that is signifier and signified. What it signifies? That I am asking you for the lift. The sign is this, and what it signifier? I am asking you for the lift. And what are you supposed to do? I am asking you for the lift. You are supposed to, give me a lift, right? This is sign. And the Saussure talks about the arbitrariness of the language. He says that there is no real, connection between the word and the concept it signifies. Okay, whenever we see red color anywhere, will we stop there? No, we won't. But if we see that red color in the particular, traffic light, we will definitely stop there, because we know that it signifies something. It means that we have to stop there, right? Let's take another example. Let's take an example of a cat. The word cat, C-A-T, cat. What it signifies? It signifies a specific creature which has 4 legs, a tail which is kind of furry, which is blackish or whitish in color. Okay, it gives a certain image of that creature, right? But is there any relation between the word cat and the image of the cat? No. We just have given the meaning that this creature, the creature looks like this, and we will call it a cat. There is a creature which has 4 legs, a tail, which barks, but we have given it a name that we will call this creature a dog, right? So this is what Ferdinand says, that this is arbitrariness of the language. We have given it a meaning, but there is no real connection between these things. So that's it for this video. We'll meet in the next one. Till then, bye bye, take care and stay in touch. Bye bye.